So, good afternoon and welcome to this edition of the British Business Podcast. I'm absolutely delighted this afternoon to have with me Clive Kessel.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Clive. And your business is called the Really Useful Advice Company.
Yeah, and it hopefully does exactly what it says on the label.
Well, it does. It does. So, Clive, help me and the listeners. Tell us about your background. Tell us your history. Where did you come from?
So my history was in logistics. So that dark art of the guy that actually, when he doesn't do the logistics, you realise it, and then procurement on your back, sales are on your back, production are on your back, and everyone's on your back. So I worked in the industrial minerals area here in Cornwall. I was the logistics general manager global for the paper division. So road, rail, sea, barge, moving 2.5 million tonnes around the world, spending £250 million worth of the French company's money. And when I left that organisation in about 2008, I sat with a career coach and she said, "Who are you? What are you?" I said, "Well, I'm really good at road, rail, sea, barge and all that." She said, "I've spoken to your team." She said, "You've got some really good people in your team, but that team will do anything for you." She said, "I think you're a people person, but you never realised it." So literally revelation and navel gazing later, I went into a sector saying, well, actually, if I can get the best out of people, maybe I can coach and mentor people to become better versions of themselves.
Yes.
So in 2008, I formed the Really Useful Advice Company, which has been abridged over the years to really? So that's me. I'm a human being. I love people. I love the emotional intelligence that it brings.
Yep.
The ability to work in different cultures and diversity. I had a guy from Finland, a guy from Greece, a guy from Germany, a lady from Central Europe. I had some Brits in amongst it. Yeah. And even a couple of Brazilians thrown in and a Canadian. And you actually see it from their perspective, looking from their, standing in their pair of shoes, with a bit of an empathy side. But actually, once you understand the people and why they do what they do, you can then be influential and be, what was it Daniel Priestley say? Be the key influencer, the right person in the room. Yeah. Once you understand their why, Simon Sinek is the only guy we could refer to there, of course. Yes. If you understand their why, it's easy then to link Rudyard Kipling's, well, take my 5 friends with me, the who, the what, the when, the why, the how. Yes. And basically, I love people. I love getting turning them into a better version of themselves. Okay. Purely by mentoring. It's less coaching. They're good enough. Yeah. But mentoring is more being they've got their bestie and they've got their partner, and maybe in business or maybe in their home and social life. And I sort of sit on the top as a sort of triangle of trust. Yes. And eventually my entire aim with every client that I've got is they no longer need me because they say, what would Clive have said in this circumstance? Yeah. Okay. So I'm a people person, really, yeah.
Fantastic. And I guess you cover businesses at any stage of their growth and development. You're not a startup man. No?
Well, I guess everything starts from a side hustle, doesn't it? So which then can lead to a startup. Yeah. Then you get the solopreneurs that have got their single-minded view on what they want to do. Yeah. You've then got the duopreneurs which have come together because they realise I've got my vertical bit. Yeah. But they've got that horizontal bit, and maybe I need someone with a circle to be able to make that whole thing a reality. So I'll work literally with someone who's come up with a concept and an idea. And again, on my LinkedIn, there's a firebrand I'm working with at the moment that probably explains that one. A lady called Kate Duran of Flotsam Flow, which is using pliable plastics that can't be recycled, so they go to incinerator or landfill, and turning them into fashion items. Wow. Literally, she's now 13 months old as a business. Yeah. Started, I think, in December 2 years ago with 4 sales. She's smashed 500 sales now. She's got a website on the way. She's got 4 brand new machines. She's been given an office by one of the waste companies here in Cornwall to get her off her feet. And by the time we've got a full SEO, search engine optimized website that she can sell from, there's no reason that we can't scale that up across the whole of the United Kingdom, and who knows, maybe further. So, and that started from a conversation with someone that was making stuff out of a unicorn and a pink flamingo on the top of a hot tub lid. So that was the side hustle that turned into something. She was an ex-TD teacher, and she just had enough of working as a teacher. I think quite a few people can empathise with that. You then got people down here in Cornwall. We've got Big Box, Mike B and Spencer Woods. Yep. I'm sure they've been on the business broadcast already. They were about 1 year old, and they were the duopreneurs. And actually, they knew each other intimately and really well in business and outside.
Yeah.
They just needed that third opinion, that bouncing board, someone they could throw stuff at that was non-judgmental but still objective.
Yeah.
So that's a duopreneur. A solopreneur coming into that, I would say from the side hustle would be Kate. But then there'll be a small medium enterprise. There's a guy I've just pitched for some work with over in Weybridge. He's not quite ready because he's too busy at the minute, which is a nice problem to have. But he's realised that actually he's got his business and his peers and his employees, but he's got no one to throw an idea at. What happens if? Could we do that?
Yeah.
What about this? Do you know anybody in that area?
Yeah.
I'm relatively well connected. They call me the network ninja. I know someone who knows everybody, probably, I guess, Torquay across to Bristol and down.
Yes.
With the benefits of connecting with people like your good selves, what we then mean is that one to many.
Yes.
And as we know, the 6 stages of separation that existed in the 70s is now down to 3.4, 3.6. So everyone in the world, we're 3.4 to 3.6 stages away from knowing them. That's Russia, that's Brazil, that's Canada, that's America.
Yeah.
So if you connect people in the right way and people believe in you, then maybe you can make them a better version.
So you're going to mentor and support people.
Yeah.
So in my old day, I'd call that a non-exec director role, a NED.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, would you, any similarities?
Yeah, the similarities are obviously a non-executive director is a position which would go onto company's house.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of those positions where I help, but I prefer to sit on the outside of the company so it doesn't seem as though any decisions I'm making is for the benefit of me in the company.
Right.
It's for the benefit of the people who own the company and who started the company, who came up with the first idea.
Yeah.
And by being, I think, that non-judgmental, objective bystander, that I can actually look at things through a clear set of spectacles without being clouded by perhaps profit or turnover.
Sure.
As we know, cash is king.
And as again, any particular sectors for you?
Well, it's funny. A lot of people come to me and say, Clive, your clients, and we'll send out the LinkedIn connection. Your clients are so diverse. What do you do? I offer really useful advice. And really? Yeah. I said, yeah. I said, so we've got IT companies, we've got social media companies, we've got exhibition companies, we've got people doing flots and float, pliable plastics. Yeah. We've got promotional gifts. We've got all of this broad spectrum of genre and business activities.
Yeah.
Break it down. There's a person in that business, or 2 or 3 people in that business that are individuals.
Yes.
And if you understand their why and work out why they want to do what they're going to do, you can then try and develop them to become better versions of themselves, which leads to the business becoming a better version of itself.
Yeah.
And treat the people separately from the company, really, I guess.
And as the ninja networker, you have access to huge levels of contact relationships across that network. Yeah. So there's probably nothing that any of your clients could throw at you that you wouldn't know somebody somewhere where we could find a solution.
Exactly. And that's been tested on a number of occasions, as you can imagine. It could come through PR and media. We've got a lovely lady that I deal with called Rachel from the Hammond Agency, absolute firebrand, ex-Fleet Street, came down into Cornwall, does some of the courses at the local college to train people in PR and media studies. But more importantly, she has the ability to be able to get an inbox into the people that you need to contact. Right. So then you find, well, okay, if we've got the messaging, and we got the media, where's the marketing going to come from? And then I reach out to some of the marketing organisations, Cornish marketing company called Belinda Ship I work with very well. Yeah. But there's a plethora of them out there. It could be technology, it could be accountancy, it could be grant aid, it could be someone who's actually looking to set something up but doesn't know at the design route, the trading standards. It could be someone who wants to be able to get their brand into SEO and web design. And we've got Paul Edworthy here, who's actually in another part of the studio right now doing TikTok training. Yeah. And then you've got Shane, he's like a rash over Cornwall. You've got your partnerships, which are now rash over the whole of the United Kingdom. Yes. And who knows where they're going to be. We're already in America and 4 other places around the world. Okay. And those link into local business communities, local business networking groups. Yeah. And then from that, you end up with the Chamber of Commerce, and the Chamber of Commerce then to other chambers of commerce, and then the collective Chamber of Commerce. Yeah. And because of my background in working all around the globe, I know someone in Brazil, in America, in Canada, in Australia. I know people in Sri Lanka. I know people in Russia. I know people in the Ukraine. Yeah. So I guess there's no limit to the people that I know.
Yeah.
And so far, I've not been asked a question that I couldn't connect.
Fantastic. And do you know what I love about this, Clive? It shows our listeners and our viewers that there's an awful lot more to Cornwall than people outside of Cornwall realise. There is manufacturing here.
Yeah.
There is industry. There's innovation. As you know, the spaceport.
Yeah.
The spaceport is here in Newquay. You know?
Well, we had the Virgin Galactic, with the, unfortunately, unsuccessful launch of their satellites, which was due to a fuel filter coming dislodged. Wow. That's the reason it didn't work. Okay. But you've got that. But there's also over in Newquay, there's talk of this thing called the Abyss, the deepest swimming pool ever to be built in the world, because you can study underwater at that pressure is the same as what it would be like in deep space. Wow. That's happening on the end of that area, what they call the Aero Hub or Spaceport.
Yes.
Go over to the Roseland Peninsula, you've got Parnell Engineering, rebuilding the original World War II St Ives Spitfire as an installation for art.
Yes.
Using apprenticeships to be able to learn their trade by rebuilding something which was originally being built in the Second World War as a beneficiary of funding coming through from St Ives. Then you got GCHQ up in Bude. You've got manufacturing companies like Tegel that are sending stuff all over the world.
Yes.
There is no limit to what there is in Cornwall. Above those high hedges and behind those beaches and sand dunes, there's someone doing something that is replicated on a global platform.
And Clive, with the business, the Really Useful Advice Company, fantastic. So a couple of things we need to know.
Yeah.
What's the timescale for launching this business?
Well, the business was formed in 2009 and has been tickling away, doing quite a lot of work in the background, along with a number of other activities.
Yep.
The main reason today of putting a Really Useful Advice Company back onto the map as such, under its brand of Really, is come the end of March, I've got a few things that I've been working on that have come to a natural end. So I'm going to end up with 2 to 3 days of activity that I want to fill, because I literally cannot stand being idle.
Nope.
Yeah, the TV in my house has got dust on it, not a program. Good. So the whole purpose of this is to be able to help more people at a time, which I believe need more help. Yes. So the Really Useful Advice Company is relaunching to take on new clients from April right the way through to the end of this year. There is a no obligation 30, 40 minute, maybe an hour call, depending on how it goes, for me to find out what it is that they have, what problem they're trying to solve, what issues they have within their organisation, or perhaps an idea that they've got that they don't really know where to take.
Yes. And
the whole concept of that is me to have a conversation. Can I help? If not, I'll direct them to someone else.
Yep.
If I can help, we'll set up some form of arrangements that allows us to meet weekly, fortnightly, monthly, 6 monthly, whatever works for them, to become a non-judgmental and objective bouncing board and mentor them to become a better version of themselves.
Fantastic.
So April, we'll be opening our doors to quite a few new clients, and it's really exciting.
Great. How do they find you?
So they can find me on LinkedIn.
Yep.
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, but LinkedIn's probably business to business the best place to find me.
Yep.
So first of all, you can Google search Clive Kessel, Clive, Kessell. I'm not that famous, but there's only one other guy who's got a prolific name, and he was a railway engineer and he's just retired. So I'm on the first 2 pages of Google, LinkedIn, Clive Kessel, Really Useful Advice Company, or Really, you'll find me through those channels.
Yeah, fantastic. Clive, thank you so much for coming into the studio today. I can see your energy, your enthusiasm, and more importantly, your experience. Yep. And I think it's absolutely fantastic. I wish you every success with the new venture.
Excellent.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
People now know how to get hold of you.
Yep.
They know where to find you. I wish you every success for the future. And I'd just like to thank everybody today for tuning in to the British Business Podcast. Thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.